When attempting to grow your coaching business online so you can train more athletes, make more money, and have a way bigger impact, there are a few vital mistakes that you want to avoid. And after working with over 300 sports coaches across a dozen different sports, I've boiled it down to really about 7 huge mistakes that people will make when it comes to trying to grow their coaching business online. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what those mistakes are and how you can avoid them. So that way you can actually successfully grow your coaching business online. So that way you can actually create your dream life by coaching athletes online. If this is your first time here, my name is Nick. I run an online consulting company helping sports coaches train more athletes online. So that way they can actually have a bigger impact, make more money, and create a life of more freedom. If this is your first time here, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the first mistake that is probably the most common mistake that I see people make is waiting for perfection, okay? And the reason why this is such a big mistake is because people have this fallacy that there's going to be like a perfect time for anything, okay? And you've probably heard the saying before, and if you haven't already, you're welcome for this. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. Now, you see, a lot of people have this perception that, circumstances are going to change in the future for the better, right? But the reality is that circumstances always change, okay? Circumstances always change. And if you are actually truly committed to making your online coaching business work, then the circumstances shouldn't really matter. And every day that you wait for quote unquote the perfect time is a day that you're just pushing off the inevitable, right? The inevitable, because if you think about it, if you're not gonna quit, it doesn't matter all the mistakes that you make in the beginning, right? There's like 100 problems, let's say, that you have to solve in order to go from zero to making $10,000 a month coaching athletes online, right? And the longer you delay problem number 1, problem number 2, problem number 3, right? The longer you delay getting started, the longer you're pushing back these problems that you have to create. You're making problems for yourself in the future, right? Most people want to push off their problems and push off the discomfort into the future. So that way they can live in the comfort today. But if you actually want to create the life that you want, if you want to create a better life for yourself, you have to tackle that problem today. You need to start now, right? Because most people, they're just pushing it off, pushing it off, pushing it off. Some of you guys watching this probably actually are like this, and I'm talking directly to you right now, is that you've probably been thinking about, coaching athletes online for a long time, but you're just waiting for the right time to start. The reality is there is no right time. You're just afraid to fail, which is fine. Everybody's afraid to fail, but you can't let that petrify you and hold you back from taking action, okay? The second mistake that I see people make when actually trying to coach athletes online is go at it alone, okay? And obviously, I'm a little bit biased here because look, yeah, I sell a program teaching people how to do this, right? And if you want to check it out, how I can actually work with you one-on-one, you can go ahead and click the link in the description. But point being, a lot of people are trying to go at this alone. And that's not to say that you can't actually go at this alone, right? But the point is, like, if you're a coach, let's just point out the hypocrisy of the fact that, maybe you're trying to coach athletes online and you're trying to go at it alone, okay? Imagine if one of your athletes was like, hey, look, I really want to, I really want to get better. Let's say you're a hitting coach, right? Hey, I really want to get better. But you know what? I think I'm just going to go on YouTube and I'm going to look on Instagram and I'm just going to try and feel it out myself. But with absolute certainty that you could help this athlete achieve whatever goal that, they have for themselves, right? You would probably be sitting there thinking, dude, you are an idiot. I can help you. Why won't you let me help me? Or why won't you let me help you? I can help you get there so much faster. Like maybe this athlete, yes, eventually does, reach his goal, reach his potential, but how much faster, okay? How much faster would that athlete get there if you were able to actually help them, if you were able to be hands-on with them? It's the exact same thing when trying to grow online. You need to find somebody who's actually done what you want to do, whether it's me or somebody else, right? I've spent over $150,000 of my own money, right, on mentors, coaching, courses, masterminds, all these different types of things to actually get to where I want to go, right? And I have made, if you're watching this video, probably way more money than you. And that's not me trying to flex on you. That's not me trying to be like, like rude or like put myself up here like I'm some sort of beast. It's just that I have taken the risks, right? I didn't wait for the perfect time and I didn't try and go at it alone. I sought out somebody else who had done exactly what I want to do, and I went full steam ahead with that, okay? So the third thing that I see people making a mistake with is stopping too early. Stopping too early, okay? And the reason why this is such a huge mistake, and I think it's super common, is because people are expecting a result really, really, really fast, okay? People are expecting to see the fruits of their labor in 30 days, in 60 days, right? And sometimes, yeah, to be fair, like it absolutely can happen, but you got to realize when you're coaching in person, you are, going into something where you've probably already built up a little bit of network in your hometown. Like maybe you went back to your hometown. Maybe you're a college athlete, you're a pro athlete. Go back to your hometown. People know who you are. They know your name, all that type of stuff, right? You're not necessarily starting from ground zero. Maybe you're working at a facility where they're going to feed you athletes and then, you get referrals from other people. When you're going online, you are an absolute nobody. You're starting from scratch. Nobody knows you from the next guy. And to be quite honest with you, nobody really cares how good of an athlete you were, okay? What people care about is the connection that you can develop with them, right? Because at the end of the day, the athlete doesn't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And in person, it's very easy to sit there, shake somebody's hand, right? And see like, oh yeah, like this person really cares about me. Online, it takes a while to develop that connection, okay? So you have to develop not only the connection, but you also have to develop skills, okay? So for example, I'm trying to bench 315 right now. That's one of my goals, and I'm pretty close. However, imagine if I just tried to bench, like never having benched before, tried to bench, and I go for 135 and I don't get it, right? And then I train for a little bit, let's say a couple weeks, and eventually I get 135. And then, I try and go for 225 and I don't get it. And then for 2 months, I'm trying to go for 225. I don't get it. You watching this video right now, you know that I have to develop the strength over time to be able to bench 225. Or right now, for me, trying to bench 315. I've been working towards benching 315 I'm 28 years old right now. So ever since I touched a barbell, right? It's a huge accomplishment for anybody who stepped in the weight room and has taken it seriously, right? It takes time to develop these skills. And a lot of you guys out there are, or a lot of people that I see who maybe don't have success coaching online, is they try it for a month or, even a day. They try it for a day, a week, a month, 3 months, and they don't get the outcomes that they want because they have this unrealistic expectation and they don't realize that they have to develop the skills and they have to develop the connection with their audience. Okay. And that is obviously going to take a ton of time. Okay, so number 4 is going too broad. Okay, this is a huge problem that I see. This is a huge problem that I see. And we just had a soccer coach join our upper level program. Okay, so he went through our initial program. He did pretty well. He's making, $5,000 a month strictly online, right? Which is amazing, right? I think he's 23 now, former Division I soccer player, really cool guy, like super committed, super dedicated. And his best month is like 5.8K after working with us in 6 months, right? To give you an idea of like, a realistic timeline of how long it takes you to get results. He's been super committed. So we get on the onboarding call for him to join our upper level program where like you get a lot more support, a lot more hands-on, blah, blah, blah. And we start talking and he was saying like, hey, I'm trying to build a program for a striker and a defender and a center mid and a winger. And like, if you're a soccer coach, then you would understand like what I'm saying. But if you're not a soccer coach, obviously these are a bunch of different positions, right? So if you're a baseball coach, it's like trying to work with, this hitter who's like trying to increase his power and this hitter who's trying to increase his contact and this hitter who's trying to, I don't know. You're trying to work with a wide range of people. And I was like, dude, what if you only worked with center mids? Because that's the position you played in college, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, then wouldn't your program be super dialed in? He's like, yeah, it'd be so much easier. I wouldn't have to work with, all these other types of people. I wouldn't have to create 17 different programs. I could just make this one program the best that I possibly could. I was like, yeah, exactly. And I was like, so what if somebody else came along and they were like, hey, I'm gonna help strikers. Would you sign up any strikers in your program? He's like, no. I'm like, exactly. That guy would smoke you because he has expertise in that. So what we want to do is we want to be specialists, okay? We want to be a specialist in one specific type of thing. And you want to niche down. And this is how you have success early online. Okay, a lot of people are thinking like, and people even make this mistake with their in-person coaching. They're like, oh, I can help anybody. It's like, that is why you're sitting there giving lessons to athletes that you hate, that probably suck. You know, you have the top 20% of your roster where you're like, dude, if I could have 100 of these kids, I would be so happy. I would get the best results. I would look like the best coach. But really, you know, the best way, I heard this from a college baseball coach, right? The best way to win baseball games in college is to have really good players, to recruit really good players. It's the same thing with online coaching or even in-person coaching, right? You want to be a specialist and you ask yourself, what can I be the best in the world at? Okay? What can I be the best in the world at? And this is a question that I asked myself when, you know, I was going through a period of time where I was like, maybe I should try and work with like other niches, or, you know, maybe I should try and broaden like what we're doing inside my company. And I just asked myself, like, what can I be the best in the world at? And I'm the best in the world at helping sports coaches grow their coaching businesses online, right? I got tons of proof to show for it. And if I tried to go into the open market where I'm just like helping people go online in general, start an online coaching business in general, like I'm going to go up against way bigger sharks, right? I'm going to go up against way bigger people who have way bigger brands. And so what I realize is that I can be a specialist, and therefore I can charge a premium to be a specialist, right? That is exactly what we figured out with this client who is a soccer coach, right? He's going to go after center mids, and then he's going to be able to increase his price point and get very specific with who he wants to work with and only speak directly to that person. That is actually how he's going to, develop his program over the long run. So the fifth mistake that I see coaches make today is they have an improper focus. Okay? And I wrote it backwards, but really what I'm trying to say here is that they're worried about the entirely wrong stuff, right? Most people are worried about, what software do I use? They're worried about, how do I train 100 plus athletes online? How do I make this scalable? They're worried about all these different things, but they don't have any online athletes. Like they're literally trying to solve problems that aren't even real. Or they're worried about, oh my goodness, like, I don't know what software I should use. I need to make sure my software is absolutely perfect, right? There's a way to solve this problem, and it's literally just by taking action and starting to, maybe transition a couple of your in-person athletes into like a hybrid type of program. You don't have to charge them, so that way, I know you're worried about putting out a really bad product and charging people and trying to steal their money. That's what all my other clients say too. Don't worry, okay? The software and the scalable program and all of that will come over time as you figure it out, as you get better at it. But by, trying to build out the perfect program or trying to, create a system that is scalable for over 100 athletes online, you are just worried about the wrong stuff. What you need to be doing is posting content, getting your name out there, and showing people that you are an authority. And if you do that, then you will actually start to make progress towards your goal. But by worrying about these things, you are completely, you're wasting your time, okay? So number 6 is marketing wrong, okay? So a lot of people that I see out there, they think that when you're trying to coach athletes online, that you need to be like influencer, right? And we don't want to be an influencer at all. We don't want to be an influencer at all. What we're actually trying to do is we're trying to be an authority, okay? We're trying to be an authority. I'm going to put a line through influencer, okay? We're trying to be an authority, okay? And so a lot of people think that they need to make like meme style content that's like super flashy and all these edits and stuff like that. Like look at all my content, right? My content is super basic, and I've signed up hundreds of coaches through my Instagram and YouTube, right? Strictly just by using my social media channels, right? Because I'm showing that I am an authority and I'm giving you, the information that you need to educate you on how online coaching works and how it can potentially work for you. And then if you want help, then you can come to me for one-on-one help, right? Because obviously I've helped a bunch of different people do it. We know what I'm doing. And so, or you know that I know what I'm doing if you watch a lot of my videos, right? So what I'm doing is I'm showing you that I'm an authority. And that is what the best online sports coaches are doing too, right? The principles remain true. You're not trying to be an influencer. You are trying to be an authority, okay? So the seventh and biggest mistake that I see people make when they're trying to go online, and it sounds so simple, never starting, okay? See, a lot of people out there, they really want to grow online, but this is actually how they are acting right now. Their wants do not equal their actions, okay? Because we are not defined by our desires, okay? Everybody wants to live a great life. Everybody wants to have freedom. Everybody wants to make more money. Everybody wants to have a bigger impact, right? It's super easy to want a ton of stuff, okay? What's not easy is to take the actions to actually make it happen. Because a lot of people say they want to coach online. Oh yeah, but I'll do it next week. Or they're like, oh no, I don't know. Like, it's not really for me. It would be super cool, but it's not for me, right? You probably hear people say that. And like, look, the reality of the situation is that coaching athletes online is very difficult at first because it's brand new. But when you actually learn the skills, when you actually try, and when you get with somebody like me who actually can help you and has helped hundreds of people before you, there's a proven framework, there's a proven system. And we like, check out this YouTube channel, check out my Instagram. Literally, like, check out the link in the description. I got a bunch of testimonials on that page, right? The process is proven. But if you never start, then you can't ever achieve the goal that you want, okay? So my advice to you, start today, make it messy, fail as much as you possibly can, and continue to go forward every single day. And if you want to go faster, then you can work with me directly. But either way, hopefully you got a ton of value out of this video. I just walked you through the 7 biggest mistakes that people make when trying to coach athletes online. Hopefully you didn't just hear that car go by. I just walked you through the 7 mistakes that most people make when trying to coach athletes online. I made this video so that way you can avoid them. And if you want my help directly, check out the link in the description. Either way, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.